What you're about to see may disturb you.
Once everyone is gone, coast is clear, they are going to pull ballots out from underneath a table. There's the table going in that we're talking about where the ballots were obscured. So now they're going to start pulling these ballots out from under this table. You just pulled one out. I saw 4 suitcases come out from underneath the table. It took us a while to figure out that's the same person that you see at night with the blue apron on who's yelling for everyone to leave and who stays behind to help tabulate ballots.
Subject for today.
What?
Hey, we're in a pandemic.
For some cussing today, cause I am really pissed off. Step off! Step off! That's how angry I am.
Wow.
Is bringing back the School of Rock references because
Yeah.
we didn't do a show on Thursday because we've been chasing down some leads. That's what we call it in the news industry. Leads.
Chase them.
And we have some exclusives here today, a little bit. We'll have some more exclusives here before the end of Christmas. There is so much to get to. We will be talking about Dominion. We'll be talking about what happened in Georgia and the bombshell. Listen, this should change the course of everything. People out there who are watching right now, comment. That's how you can help the algorithms. And I want to ask you, before we go through anything else, how are you going to fight back? How are you going to fight back? Everyone right now is saying, well, what do we do? It's all talk. Listen, I'm not saying that you should go out and fight in the streets because that's silly. That's the equivalent to a thug versus a Lex Luthor. We live in an age where information is more important. But what are you doing? Because we all know that something is happening right now that is not right, despite the explanations. And you know what? Jack Black has a mighty set of pipes because I'm out of breath.
Yeah, you're out of breath. You need a second to be able to catch that. Right?
Audio Wade is here. My half-Asian lawyer can't be here due to liability reasons. Corda Black Garrett, he's accepted amongst no communities. I feel bad for him, but not so much. And token out over there, Gerald A., how are you?
I am well. How are you, sir?
Yeah.
You know the answer to that question.
So before we move on to some of the what happened last week, right? We posted it on Crowder Bits, but I realized we'd never presented it on the show. The pipe that had burst and how it didn't burst, and then people were sent home, people were not sent home. They stopped counting, they didn't stop counting, and as you see right now on CNN with the lady in front of the giant concrete penis, nobody cares.
Why is it a penis?
I know I'm not original with that, but no, you know exactly why. That was because we were telling the royalty, come on, right here.
Is that where you can take? Is that what a penis is supposed to look like? Because
wow, that's
it's supposed to like from 7.
Oh.
What's the scale here? I need to know.
All right, but first, before we get to all of that, Matthew McConaughey is trending this morning because he dared to criticize, and I watched this whole interview with Russell Brand, who's trying to rebrand himself now as a moderate, even though he's done everything he accuses everyone else of doing.
Oh,
okay.
Wow. That's
sorry. That's I'm out.
Stop it. This isn't The View. All right. Matthew McConaughey dared to criticize the far left and their intolerance, hypocrisy, and so this is what has people livid. Let's show the clip first, then more context.
Look, on the other side, on the far left, that would go, well, who do? There is a lot on that illiberal left that absolutely condescend, patronize, and are arrogant towards that other 50%. Many people were I'm sure you saw it in our industry when Trump was voted in 4 years ago. They were in denial that it was real. And some of them were in absolute denial.
I don't understand. I remember him back then. Now he's talking about, we need to find common ground and really the totality of the difference of our systems of inequality. But back in the day, he was saying, on Fox News, it's like they're constantly chopping loaves of hate, handing it out to sheep. No. So Matthew McConaughey is talking about you. My problem with fence sitters is not people who are moderate. My problem with fence sitters right now is people who try and present themselves as centrists when they weren't that way before, and that's Russell Brand. That's not honest. say I was full of crap. I was a communist before, and I was aggressive about it, and I was arrogant. I was an elitist toward conservatives, and now I realize that shtick doesn't work, and so I'm trying to rebrand myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the Matthew McConaughey thing, what he said is like the most boring opinion in the world.
Yeah.
And that anybody is upset with that makes you go, okay, well, I guess he's right about the left.
And then his very next quote was, he said, just like you have people in this election now who seem to be denying, Biden's our guy, and they seem to be not accepting that. He's not a very bright guy, so don't think he's your savior.
He's just a country boy. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not hard to play the bongos.
Well, and
I'm not criticizing him. I'm just saying.
It particularly frustrates me because every celebrity that was spewing vile and hatred, not just like having a contrary opinion to what Trump was doing, but like Alyssa Milano was the same way. Now it's time to heal and find common ground. I'm like, wait, what? That's like Hitler going to the Jews post-war and being like, okay, so we should come together and be friends?
Yeah,
it's
listen.
like, no.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, you need a little bit more than that. It's like, let's heal the wounds. But you were reaching into it, fish hooking it, tearing it open like Tito Ortiz before they had to instate that rule. In the early UFC, people don't realize this. The early UFC had you could hit in the nuts, you could grab the hair, and then they added rules. They added weight classes, but then they had to add one more rule because Tito Ortiz would punch people, cut them open, and keep ripping it. So they call it the Tito Ortiz rule.
That's just me. That's like MS-13.
And then Tito Ortiz is like, why aren't you giving me a big old hug? Let's unite.
I know I used to fish hook you and you can't close your mouth anymore, but...
All right, follow me on Instagram because that's where you get some stuff there that you don't get here, lifestyle stuff. You get a little bit more of the Joe Lewis on there. Right now, here, he's pretty much just like a starfish in a tank. He's a nerd. But he's exciting on Instagram, and of course, do consider joining Mug Club, liveofcutter.com/Mug Club. Crowder election stream is still the promo code. You get $30 off.
Still going.
Because some people are saying, hey, Joe Biden's a president-elect. That's what you should call him. And you know what? I'm probably not gonna.
No.
And we'll take your live chat after this. But comment below. That's what can make sure that people on YouTube can't throttle this.
Comment,
but first, it's time to get to this story, this bombshell that dropped, I think, Thursday, and the media never covered it. And when this happened, we were in the office watching it saying, if the media doesn't cover this, they're dead. And they have there should be absolutely a repeal of 230.
Oh, 100%.
They need no quarter at this point, and that's not a call to violence. I'm talking about informationally. They cannot be considered legitimate. They can't be considered authoritative. And if YouTube has a problem with this, Facebook or Twitter, I have a half-Asian Kraken, not the Sidney Powell Kraken. A lot of Krakens who would love to speak with you. So let's start this show off with, hopefully the stinger will let me catch my breath because I am angry, but righteous anger, like that guy over there talked about. Time to fact-check the fact-checkers.
Fact-check, fact-checkers, 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 check. News.
Okay.
News.
It's the news at the end that does it for me.
So let me set this up before I toss to the clip. For people who hadn't watched this, this is what happened, what was dropped at the Georgia hearing. There were a lot of claims made at the Georgia hearing about people who were underage voting, people from out of state. There are more than enough of those verifiable claims to not only overturn the state of Georgia, but they far exceed the margin of victory. We'll get into Dominion in a second. These are different facets, but I want to try and distill this for you. This one is very important to me because it is a clear-cut example of all of these sort of, I guess you would say, cogs in the wheel. The media, local election officials, state election officials, national election officials, and big tech disseminating information that is completely false. Then when verifiable evidence produces this result, shows us that it is verifiably false. They say, oh, well, no, that was a game of telephone. We misspoke, and everyone in the media misspoke, and everyone at Big Tech misspoke, and Senator Hirono in Hawaii misspoke. And just, you know what? It was one big misunderstanding. There is no accountability. So this is we remember this because we were election night. Let me set this up for you. Election night. We were covering for, 14 hours, something like
that? Including both streams.
And we talked about how in Georgia, machines went down, stopped working. Like, oh, okay. And then I remember covering live, a pipe burst, so they had to stop counting
in Georgia. Go
back. I don't want to. This is our own show. We didn't have time to go through 14 hours of footage, but it did happen on election night.
It's a lot.
And I need to tell you this. I'm going to hold myself accountable. I provided you with misinformation accidentally. Why? Because ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox News, everyone said a pipe had burst, and so they were going to resume counting later. We didn't know at that moment in time that when they said we were going to resume counting later, they meant right now. So I presented you with
Technically later.
misinformation because I believe that a pipe had burst on me. I'm holding myself accountable.
There you go. You
Doesn't
have to.
look like that happened, and they did not stop counting. But that's what all of us were fed the night of the election. Everyone, and I will prove to you in graphic detail. So I apologize. Some of these videos are a little bit long, but I think you need the context, and this should be really the only segment that you need on this topic. I always recommend that you go to loudwithcreditor.com, check the sources, right? Check auxiliary sources. Make sure that I'm right, you're right.
Link in the description.
But this is something you can share with people who don't understand it. So we were told they stopped counting, a pipe burst. People were, that's what we were told.
Yeah. People were supposed to go home. No more counting was going to happen.
But then they said, well, hold on a second. No one was sent home. That was their defense after that.
Yeah.
No one was sent home, actually. That's a lie. And that only came up because of sworn affidavits from people saying, hold on a second, we were sent home. They continued counting. Now we have video from 4 different angles showing that people were sent home and they continued counting. This is a 2-minute video, but it's important to watch. This was shown at the Georgia hearing that you never saw.
According to the witnesses, the Republican observers, there is a lady who has blonde braids who comes out to announce we're going to stop counting. Everyone go home. And in fact, we see that. What happens is everyone clears out. So what you're going to see, look at the ladies in yellow. You'll see that they will begin just sitting still, doing nothing, ostensibly not working, because after all, they said they're going to stop counting. They will wait until the witnesses over there in that roped off area, the press and the observers, leave the room. Then you'll see them move into action and begin scanning ballots. Once everyone is gone, coast is clear, they are going to pull ballots out from underneath a table. There you go. So now they're going to start pulling these ballots out from underneath.
Notice that lady in the purple, because we'll go back to her in a little bit.
This table, the black one, was placed there by the lady with the blonde braids. Okay, so 8:21. You'll notice the table's not there at all. Here it comes. There's the table going in that we're talking about where the ballots were obscured. That lady who's moving it is the lady with the blonde braids. She's dressed differently in the morning, so it took us a while to figure out that's the same person that you see at night with the blue apron on who's yelling for everyone to leave and who stays behind to help tabulate ballots after they've all left. Yeah, I saw 4 suitcases come out from underneath the table. So he just pulled one out. So what are these ballots doing there, separate from all the other ballots? And why are they only counting them whenever the place is cleared out with no witnesses? These machines can process about 3,000 ballots an hour.
That's pivotal because we'll show some numbers there that matter.
Machines there.
I know it's off-putting to listen to Elizabeth Holm from Theranos narrate this.
We believe that could easily be, and probably is certainly, beyond the margin of victory in this race. Because if it's only 3 scanners working for 2 hours, right, that's 18,000 ballots that went through. And so if we were to sit here for the next 2 hours, what we would see is that this operation just goes on and on and on.
But most people can't be bothered to sit there for 2 hours. I can, Michael! It's on you.
Well, you should.
For crying out loud.
Jesus.
This is one of the, now, of course, the argument is like, well, no, actually, no one was sent home. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
Hold on. First off, did you have to? Those people all rushed out of there faster when they pull the pterodactyl's ass on the Flintstone and Fred slides down the brontosaurus. And they played closing time. Don't fact check that. That's not true. But I'm just exaggerating to make a point.
Yeah. Right, well, it's like you stopping the show right now and being like, okay, we're done streaming. And I'm like, okay, should I leave?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's up to you.
We've done that.
Yeah, then I leave and you're like, oh, Gerald left. I can't believe he left.
Nobody ever said
No. Except they don't say, I can't believe he left. I'm like, good, Gerald's gone. Now we can do the show.
Oh, Jared. Oh, man.
Okay.
Where's your Christmas spirit?
This was presented. And what was interesting was for several days, Snopes, factcheck.org, Washington Post, no Pinocchios, no PolitiFact meter, no mostly true, mostly false, nothing. It was only fact-checked from some broad who's a photographer in Seattle.
Yeah. Qualified.
And then they came up with the explanation. First off, they said, well, those aren't suitcases. Okay, they look like suitcases. And they tried to say, well, actually, the bins were empty. No, they weren't empty. Then they said, well, actually, they filled the bins with the press there. And it's, okay, none of this matters. Let me explain to you why. But first, their primary defense is no burst pipe, right? No pipe actually burst. And the poll watchers weren't sent home. This is what they're saying now when they claim they've debunked this video. Here.
The water pipe leak and the events on the surveillance video did not happen on the same night. Those two events occurred 17 hours apart. How do we know? We were there.
Early this morning, we were told there is a
Why are you wearing a Target jacket?
The workers leaving were those who opened the ballot envelopes, and once they were done processing that batch, they went home.
At about 10 o'clock, there was one person working the polls who told everyone in the room to leave.
No announcement was ever made to leave.
Was anyone actually told to leave, or just that they were done counting?
Purple lady.
They were made to leave, so it was done in contravention of the statute.
Both 11 Alive journalists on site that night independently confirmed to me that they were not told to leave, but they were told counting was done for the night.
Okay, well, first off, that's important because then the guy said, no, counting. We clearly saw the counting didn't stop.
Yes.
No. Yeah.
How is that better?
Pick a bullshit lane.
So the claim was that there were envelope people and then there were counters.
Right, there were cutters.
So the cutters, they sent the cutters home.
Right.
But
who would not have understood at all that they were simply cutters. These are people who, you have people in sworn affidavits saying, no, actually we were told to leave. And at that point, all the press left, which just tells me the press is retarded. Yeah. Right? This is also why they don't want to admit, no, we all left. And by the way, the people you say right there, this is the difference. This is what's important. It's like fighting somebody else when you have a 100-pound vest on.
Yeah.
Are they under oath, under penalty of perjury? The people who told you that? Because the people who went along with your original story are. And they said they were told to go home, which is what you told us. So we have what you told. This is what they're saying now.
Yep.
But it doesn't matter because that's not what you told us. And I don't just mean a couple of people online with internet conspiracy theories. What I mean is the night we covered the election, every single major news media outlet, including the place that airs Sesame Street, PBS. Repeatedly quoted the election officials and directors, so I would like to get that guy under oath. Here's my thing right now. We'll show this. We need to have some subpoenas and subpoenas.
Enunciation is key.
You got it.
Enunciate the subpoenas. We need to have subpoenas, members of the press and the election officials. Okay, members of the press, did you willingly lie? Or were you given false information, in which case the election officials should be held under oath under penalty of perjury? Because both groups can't have made a mistake.
Right.
Both groups can't have made a repeated mistake, and now you just go, oh, well, hold on a second, we made a mistake. Someone needs to be held accountable, because on election night, this is the exact story you saw everywhere.
There is now a hitch in the tabulation of votes. I'm standing in Fulton County. Fulton County includes a chunk of Atlanta. Downtown Atlanta is State Farm Arena, where the Atlanta Hawks play. They are tabulating the absentee ballots of Fulton County, Georgia's most populous county. A water pipe has broken inside the arena. They had counted 86,000 absentee ballots. We don't know how many more they have yet to tabulate, but all the tabulation of those ballots has now stopped.
Also, there was a water pipe that burst in the State Farm Arena where they're tabulating votes. At least 50,000 votes, we believe, right there were paused.
So CNN and NBC need to fire people.
It caused, according to officials, a 3 to 4 hour delay. They decided to stop counting last night.
We have only 24% in. And then Fulton has also been slow going. They were delayed because of a pipe that burst earlier.
And within half an hour of him arriving at 5 this morning, a pipe had burst at the State Farm Arena, where they were scanning and tabulating the last batch of mail-in and absentee votes.
From Georgia, apparently at the State Farm Arena, they were delayed 4 hours because of a water pipe burst in that room. And they don't expect, as you say, Bill, that Fulton County will come in for quite some time.
Fulton County, most populous county, it is Atlanta. They just stopped counting at 10:30 p.m. They stopped counting their absentee ballots. They said they'd pick it up in the morning.
Both fired and subpoena because they didn't stop counting.
No.
Well, they did.
Hold on a second. Give me a fact check.
Fact check.
There we go.
They stopped counting every single person. Subpoena or fired. Take your pick. And then we go to the election official, Mr. Barron. Hold on a second. If this was a game of telephone, let's take this into account. Their argument is it was a game of telephone. They're saying some people should go home, some people should. No. Everyone left, including the press. Then they signed sworn affidavits saying we were told to leave, and now you're saying no, they weren't, and the counting didn't stop. It doesn't matter what the claim is now to debunk it because you're debunking yourselves, and don't blame conservatives You know what? Shame on us. We fucked up. We trusted you.
Right.
That's all
They said this happened. We said, okay, well, here's a video of that not happening.
Why would they
and
lie
said,
to us about that?
You believed us.
You
That's your
believed
fault.
us.
Come on.
Dummy.
Right. Well, hold on.
You're QAnon folk.
Yeah, how do you explain them continuing counting after they said they had stopped counting? Well, we haven't been told what to say about that yet.
Yeah, we have not
we haven't got the download
received
yet.
marching orders.
No.
As of this moment, I don't understand. And by the way, if you're the election official, because this is their argument too, they say, I think this was at Mediaite, they said, it was a game of telephone where he said people had left, but then people actually weren't told to leave, and so they were told to come back. If I'm seeing every single major news outlet, and by the way, including this one, who beat all of those outlets that you saw that night, thank you, by the way, for tuning in. Mug Club, join up. You know what I do? I go, I might actually be held accountable for this. Let me go, no, you guys are getting the story wrong. You guys are getting the story wrong. We didn't tell anyone to leave. They didn't only report it the night of the election. They reported it the next morning after the election. It was a continued story until it was repeatedly debunked. First, no pipe burst. Well, it was a toilet seal. Oh, a toilet seal? Why would that affect the outcome of voting? How big of a pansy are you?
Right.
Listen, we're government workers and or volunteers.
Yeah.
We don't have the Constitution to do this. You ever had a paper cut?
Yeah, and if this is true, then they only corrected the record a month later, after the video came out.
And
so why didn't they do this ahead of time? Why didn't they realize what they said?
Do you know when this happened, by the way? So let's follow this timeline. Pipe burst, people were sent home.
Yeah.
Okay, now they say no, but at that time, pipe burst, people were sent home. They said counting stopped. Counting didn't stop, and it happened. At the time, there was a massive voting spike for Biden.
Weird.
Oh, wow. Who knew?
Fact check.
That almost seems like it was planned.
Now, granted, could be totally unrelated. Yeah. Also, this is something I have a problem with. We're saying they can count 3,000 votes per hour, but you have many precincts that have far exceeded what the machines could actually process. So who's to say 3,000, 30,000, 100,000? Screw you, you're crazy for asking questions.
Right. Well, look, the law just clearly states it doesn't matter if it was a suitcase or an election box transporter, whatever it was, it doesn't matter. They're not supposed to be counting votes in that situation. They shouldn't all go inert, right? They shouldn't all just sit there and freeze, and then 45 seconds, 5 minutes, whatever it was, later go, let's start counting again when no one's here.
They were playing musical chairs.
Yeah. Exactly.
And they walked out and they started playing Semisonic again. I know how I want to take me home. Well, I am so tired of the lies right now and that anyone is actually buying it. And the only reason is because the media is blocking.
Yeah.
No accountability. You guys let us know when we're wrong all the time.
All the time.
Right. And if your goal is to have an open, free, and fair election, and by the way, at 10:30 at night, we knew this was going to be contested. We were seeing some staggering margins for Trump, right, going into some of these counts that they were doing for absentee ballots. Why wouldn't you say, hey, we accidentally sent everyone home? Or we didn't send anybody home, but they all left. I have no idea. Maybe like their favorite restaurant's closing. We'll call them all back. We'll wait.
Doesn't matter. You call their ass back because you can't count without them.
Right. Call them back.
That's why now they're saying, no, they didn't start counting. They were just tabulating things that other people had verified. But the people who are under sworn affidavits are saying, no.
That's not
that's not true. So the media goes with people who are not under penalty of perjury, who have no accountability because the media hates accountability. I was born in the shadows, molded by it, but they've stayed there. This is the issue with the media. So they bring in people who have no skin in the game.
None.
Yeah.
There's no affidavit. It's just like, what happened? Well, people weren't sent home. Good enough for me. Back to you. And they go, a second. It looks like people were sent home. What do you say? Well, those were just the cutters. Oh, they were just the cutters. Good enough for me. Back to you. All right. And they stopped counting, though, right? So so people weren't there. They stopped counting. Back to you, Bob. Oh, they didn't stop counting? Oh, okay. So then, well, you were just tabulating. They were just tabulating. Back to you, Bob. No.
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
Well, and I guarantee you the next one we're going to hear is it wasn't enough votes to overturn the election.
Right.
So you shouldn't worry about
that.
that.
By the way, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed because subscriptions don't mean a whole lot here on YouTube, and notifications let you know when we're live, weekday mornings, 10 a.m. Eastern. And comment below if you have been following this. Just comment your favorite color for all I care, but apparently that's what YouTube values in the algorithms. Yeah. Now, that's what matters is the broken chain of custody.
Yes.
Also really, you cannot count. There are laws in place that say you can't be counting if there's no accountability.
Right.
Listen, we've talked about this when you have two fighters. The fighter's corner, his coach goes and watches them tape the other guy to make sure there are no nails, broken glass. That's what they used to do.
Gosh.
The Italians were rough.
They dirty.
Whoa. Roll of pennies, maybe?
Back in the day, the Italians, the Irish, they were, there was some foul play in early Queensbury boxing. Don't worry, the blacks came in, they cleaned it up.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey.
And one Jew, Max Baer. The point is, there's blame to go around.
That's true.
So talking about the chain of custody, this is something that not many people are covering. That purple lady with the purple shirt.
Purple shirt,
little blonde hair.
Actually purple.
Which, by the way, if you're listening to this, blonde braids, you probably picture something in your mind. Very different. Watch the video. It is not the Wendy's girl, Pee-Pee Longstocking.
It's not the girl from 10.
No, it is not.
Nothing like that.
10. Bo Derek.
I forgot her name.
Yeah, Bo Derek. That's what I'm thinking of. She's a conservative, and she looks fine. But that purple lady, here she is earlier, again, while we're talking about the chain of custody and absentee ballots, and a lot of people could miss something very important here. Go.
I'm gonna let y'all see this. Okay, don't say nothing. Listen, look.
Secret.
Don't say anything.
But you are broadcasting it.
Right. Yeah. She don't know how
it's
to
like Anderson
internet
Cooper
work.
going, shh, right, to everyone, to the 9 people in the airport who watch him.
The secret between me and the internet.
Don't worry, I can just delete it. It's not like it's forever.
So that's what's going on in Fulton County.
Listen to this.
Voter registration. Sir, can I have some work?
Verk. Verk and Spurgen.
Give me
It's
that
been 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Uh-huh.
That's all you give me.
I'm going to give you but 5. I come to work, y'all, and they talk about me. Oh, they talk about me.
Seems like there's some drama there, but I think I understand why you'll hear.
I didn't want to work. Oh, Dion, thank you. Thank you, love. When I didn't want to work, I took off for 10 days. Now I'm back at work.
Maybe that's what they talk about you.
Maybe.
Because I come to work.
But now you're here. Okay, good. Good. That's how it works.
Thank you,
That's
sir.
settled.
Oh, you're going
That's
to
how
give
it
me... Oh,
works.
you just gave me one. God bless you real good. Thank you.
This is pivotal. This is pivotal. Look at that,
Overworked.
folks.
Ain't no such thing. I'm going to be here till 7 o'clock.
Then I'm on leave for 4 weeks.
I
came to work. Look at that. For people who don't know what they're watching, I'll go back to it.
Don't mind Miss Ruby.
I'm going to be counting those. I got a lot to fill out counting those absentee ballots. First off, anyone here who just decides they don't want to show up for 10 days, don't show up for all the days after the 10.
Yeah. But I didn't want to work.
And by the way, expect me to talk about you. I'm a bitchy gossip like that. Can you believe that Audio Wade didn't show up to work for 10 days and he still thought he had a job? I know. What a moron, right?
Terrible.
I don't want to gossip.
It's funny when we told him to come in and change the locks.
Loose lips sink ships. So do the guys who are actually manning the ships who don't show up for 10 days. Oh, I see your point.
Yeah, that's fair.
Didn't want to work.
So she didn't show up for 10 days. It's like, I gotta work, y'all.
Yeah.
For people who don't know what that is, let's bring up that screen.
Yeah.
Those are absentee ballots with no return address. Now, but she's got work to do.
Yeah.
The guy is bringing in fat stacks, I believe is how they're commonly referred to. Fat stacks of absentee ballots with no return address, which she just said on camera she is going to fill out. You cannot, first off, you don't fill out if there's no return address. That's objection, Your Honor. I'll walk around, shut up, you weren't here for 10 days. You don't even know what an objection is. You weren't here for the orientation.
Stop talking about me.
Objection. Stop, yo, gossiping ass. And there's no one there. So we are now talking about a lady who was bringing in those bins, as we saw earlier, and there are more videos circulating that we haven't been able to verify yet, who on that night, after being MIA for 10 days, is filling out absentee ballots with no return address there and no watchers. Who's to say those aren't the ballots when they say people were doing the cutting and they put the ballots into the bins while the press was there, and then later they were just running them through the tabulator? Who's to say they aren't those? Again, this all coincides when you look at the incident with a massive voting spike for Biden in a state that is not really a swing state.
Yeah, it hasn't been for quite a long time. The only thing that we're asking, look into it. Can you just look into it before you say, nope, certified, nope, done, we're not going to do anything?
Look into it who? Who do we ask to look into it?
Well, the state has to, right? And then if the state refuses...
Good luck.
Well, I know, but...
the media's not going to. You've got a Secretary of State who I believe he was the stand-in for the eunuch in Game of Thrones. You have Republicans who don't... Because here's the thing, and I said this when they were going to do the recount. I said, listen, don't expect this recount when there's a reason they're not doing a hand recount in Georgia. Because even if you're a Republican, you don't want to look like so much of a dumbass that a pipe didn't didn't burst. People were sent home.
Right.
They counted votes in secret, and you're the one in charge. It's not about Republican or Democrat at this point. It's about people not wanting to lose their jobs, and they should.
Yeah, every single one of them. And when Donald Trump calls the governor and says you shouldn't certify these results, the media says Donald Trump is illegally pressuring him. No, all he's saying is enforce your own laws. They weren't followed. You have to not certify this, and you have to look into it.
Let's not bicker about who broke laws.
No, let's please. I would very much like to bicker about it.
It is one of those things that is absolutely. I mean, I don't know. The media just isn't covering it.
Yeah.
The media is not covering this right now. Let's go to CNN.
Yeah. Jeff Good.
They have Jeff Good and Killer Mike talking with Jim Brasciuto about critical week to pass the aid deal. They want. This is what is happening, by the way, folks. This is what I talked about the mental warfare. You know, they used to do this in Nazi Germany. The Allies have left. Churchill has given up because they wanted. Yep. They want you to feel alone. People are saying, "Why are you fighting a losing battle with this election deal?" Listen, I don't know that it's a losing battle. And it doesn't matter. Let me explain to you something. Someone who only picks fights that they know they will win is a bully, okay? Someone who only picks fights that they know they will lose is a fool. We don't know that we will win this fight, but I do know that we can win this fight, and you all have to get off your ass and do something. And that means writing your local representatives. That also means, by the way, getting out there and protesting in person in these states. Let's show them what actual peaceful civil unrest looks like, because they're in for a rude awakening. And something else that's really important, by the way, a lot of this is going to go to the Supreme Court. Doesn't necessarily have to, because it can go to the state electors. They can certify the election however they want. The Supreme Court, don't think that the Supreme Court is beyond the politics of public opinion, okay?
Right.
The Supreme Court, they're not going to be willing to stick their necks out for something, even if they know it's right, if they know that they will be burned down for doing so. All the Supreme Court needs is enough of you to make them understand that there are Americans out there, there's a large enough portion of Americans who want what is right to be done.
Yeah.
Give them the courage, the balls, if I may, to stick their neck out for you. That's why you can't go away quietly right now. There are some victories. There's a victory in seizing Dominion machines. We'll get to that in a second. There are victories in moving up some of the court dates. We'll get to that in a second. So this idea that there isn't any headway being made, you're not paying attention.
Yeah, exactly. And do us all a favor. Have a high credibility bar for the arguments that you're going to make. Make sure you're going after the stuff that is absolutely 100% provable. Don't run with they were suitcases under the table when they were not suitcases. Don't pick little points out when you go to make these arguments to friends, because those are easily kind of pushed aside or said, no, that's not really true. Just go with the fact that votes switched.
Story, it is a Samsonite travel case or nothing.
I was way off. Samsonite.
Knew it started with an S, though. So... Do you have something to say there, Audio? Wait.
I was actually just going to say that one of the strongest arguments that I've seen is one that Trump made, where he talked about how Hillary and Obama outperformed Biden in every single state that wasn't a swing state.
Right.
Yeah,
the only places where Biden outperformed anybody on planet Earth was the places where everything was the most contested.
And he underperformed in all the bellwether counties.
Right.
And for some reason, he overperformed with the urbanites and black voters, where he underperformed with them everywhere else aside from these areas.
Right.
So there are statistical data.
Unbelievable.
There are plenty of affidavits, and now we have video evidence. Yeah. And this is what happens. They say, where do you present the... And by the way, some of the people there at that hearing who are furious that Senator, Elena, whatever it is, like, where's the... This has been debunked. You haven't seen the video yet. But... what? And and by the way, sorry, go ahead with your point, and then I'll go back.
I was just going to say that on the face of it looks like fraud. What we were just talking about, these sort of weird anomalies where this doesn't track with any pattern. What was the 75% of the primary votes? So it was like every person who's ever won 75% of the primary votes has won the presidency as an incumbent. Trump got 94%.
Right.
So again, as we lay these things out, it just starts to look like, well, there's definitely another explanation, right?
Yeah, there's statistical.
And anybody who thinks that,
and they go, well, listen, stop doing this. Bring your evidence to court. You have judges, again, politically motivated, who will not look at it. That's not evidence.
Yeah.
Because someone at Mediaite says, no, we didn't tell people to go home. You told us you did, and judges go, well, we're not going to look at any of the evidence.
Right.
Listen, this is enough right here. This is enough that a judge has to take it. And if testicleless judges in your state won't, guess what? It's going to be kicked up to the Supreme Court. Yeah. Good luck. Get down with ACB. Yeah. You know me.
Yeah. And you can definitely show three things that are very important in most trials, which is means, motive, and opportunity.
Yeah.
Right. They had the means, they had the motive, they had the opportunity. And we have video of them talking about it.
And then we have hundreds of affidavits, and then we have video evidence and statistical evidence.
Yeah. This should be easy. This shouldn't be a controversial statement.
It would be like if with OJ, they had the glove, they had the murder weapon, they had his fingerprints, they had him on tape saying, I'm going to kill my wife and love her, and the glove fit.
It's the fit part. Yeah.
That's murder suppression.
Where is the evidence? I come to work. I come to work.
I come to work. Okay.
Do you think that maybe she said work one time and someone thought it would be really funny to correct her and go, actually, it's work? She's like, okay, I sound smart.
It's I'm going to run with that.
I'm a working man.
Woman.
I come to work 7 days out of 31. On a leap year, 5 days.
Yeah.
So fewer days on a leap.
That's like was it AOC was talking with Dan Crenshaw like, if these Republicans knew if they had worked a double. Oh my God, you worked a double?
No Republican has ever worked a double shift.
By the way, ever been in combat?
Yeah.
Because that's kind of work.
Ever run a business where there is no end to your shift? Yeah. Ever?
I had to clock out and then clock in again.
I love the projection. You'd be the one crying in a walk-in
with
freezer.
with only a meal break and 2 other breaks in between. And since I don't smoke, I get to use them for whatever I want. You are a monster. I hope that you get primaried next time.
Oh man. So fun.
One can
what a threat.
What a threat.
Yeah.
I know. I didn't want to issue a threat because I know it's an empty threat. Nothing's going to happen because New York is a place where dreams go to die. Outside of Staten Island, New York, I don't let you. Sure, I love New York. I disagree.
It's also a place where citizens go to die.
It's true.
That's true.
We should let you establish residency there and primary her.
You know
that
what
would
we
be
should
hilarious.
do with New York? New York should be given back to the Canarsie. The Canarsie, we bought it for 60 guilders worth. I'm sure they want it back.
Oh, it was 60 guilders.
I believe it was 60 guilders worth. Yeah,
I think it's more valuable
like 10,000 pelts and all this stuff. The point is they sold it back before they had ships or bridges.
Nice.
So you spruced it up. Give it back. All right.
That works.
What's a little scalping? Let's go to Dominion. There's a lot going on with Dominion, and I said that conservatives who are relying on the voter fraud built within the machines will be disappointed. That can't be the only argument, but it does seem to be gaining ground, and there's an increasing amount of deeply disturbing evidence. Yeah. You already have enough with people who are voting from out of state, people who are either underage or people who are dead, voter rolls that aren't active. You already have enough. You already have enough just in Georgia, just that margin. You have to throw those out. Yeah. You have to throw those out.
No matter who they voted for, by the way.
Right.
They were all 100% Donald Trump. We would still be saying you have to throw those out. They're illegal votes.
Yeah, but they never are.
They aren't.
So let's not waste people's time. So there is a victory. I don't want them to leave here confused. Wait. Hold on. There was a giant vote dump that was for Trump?
No. You mean nowhere in the nation
it
ever?
Never is.
No? No.
Not even in Idaho.
He's real big
because there are no vote dumps in Idaho.
That's true.
It's like 5.
Just a lot of dumps. So this is a victory in Michigan. Now they are going to be able. A judge has given a. I don't know. This is where we don't have my half-page letter bill. I don't know if it's a ruling, if it's a grant. I don't know what kind of a warrant to seize Dominion voting machines in Michigan.
Well, the big news coming out of Antrim County, Michigan this morning, Pete, is that a judge actually granted our team access to 22 of the Dominion voting machines for us to conduct a forensic audit.
I'm going to get to something exclusive here that I can tell you is confirmed that's been circulating on the internet about votes being switched. But first, I want to present to you the publicly available information that many of you may not have already procured. Here is actually an expert witness, Russell Ramsland. Is it Ramsland?
Yeah. Ramsland.
The last net. So, Russell Ramstein. Stop it. Too bad this is live. We could have cut that.
Cut that in post.
Oh, boy.
There's no post.
And now just because you didn't appreciate it, I know I'm going to have to go back to it later.
You really will.
Make sure that
you have to redeem it at some later point.
Down to. So Russell Ramsland presented some findings that were showing that Dominion voting systems, and this can get a little bit technical jargon, but I'll explain the context afterward. I just want you to know that this was someone who spoke, again, under penalty of perjury. So it's not just me saying it in my pajamas while open carrying, but that's because the election hasn't been called yet.
Yeah.
So I have my buddy Walther with me. Here he is talking about Dominion voting systems overrepresenting Biden when compared to all other, again, a comparison, voting systems. Here you go.
Well, the first thing we wanted to do was to see what the effect was of a Dominion machine compared to one other. And we looked at it, compared to a group of others, and we looked at it from 3 points of view. And the first thing we did is we tried to go through the 2017 census demographics. We got the 2020 vote count by county for the country. And then we also got the Election Assistance Committee voting machine information, so we knew what each county had. You get a pretty good mathematical model as to what you should expect to see in a Biden versus Trump by county vote. We could see on a percentage basis whether Biden, for instance, outperformed by a certain percentage,
Giuliani's going to start leaking,
underperformed by a certain percentage, what you would expect in a county. Well, in this case, what we noticed is when we went back and looked at it, instead of all voting equipment all over the country, and we simply segmented out Dominion, we found out that Biden outperformed what he should have by about 5%. We went back and we looked at it instead of percentage outperformance or underperformance, we looked at it by counties. And when we did it by counties, we found an even more startling result. We found out that if Dominion counts your votes, Mr. Biden got about 78% of the wins. And if you used all other voting machines, then you only got about a 46%.
Now, let me clarify something, because you might be saying, oh, wait, hold on, Biden got 78% versus that just depends on the county. You know, what they're talking about is comparing across counties, across red, blue counties, all other voting systems. In other words, they have taken this into account as a sample study versus just Dominion. We're not talking about going from New York City, right, to Idaho. We're not talking about going from Detroit to, let's say, Houston, Texas. We're talking about an average across all other voting systems. And my God, hats off to Giuliani. That man is a hero. He went from prosecuting the mob. You have any idea how exciting that is? To listening to what is, frankly, the audio. It's paint drying. And this is the problem. Let me explain to you, too. This is the problem with the conservative movement, okay? There are too many there are too many Spocks, not enough Kirks. And I'll tell you this, as a show that we do very well, and we try to obviously check our sources. You have a lot of the think tank conservatives who, like for example, Tucker Carlson used to be amongst them, who think that this is beneath them, and so they don't distill information so that you can understand. A lot of people watch that and go, I don't know what this exactly means, and the media is counting on you tuning out like I did.
During the show,
you'll notice an uptick in energy. I took a nice 45-second nap. That's about all I need. Like Jocko, 2 hours of sleep a night, 45-second nap with my eyes open.
Your machine, like a dolphin.
Let's apply this to the entire state. Let me break it down for you. All other voting machines versus Dominion, 78 versus 40-something%. Apply it to the state. That means that it could have given Biden anywhere from 123,000 to 136,000 votes. That's beyond the margin of victory. Something else that pisses me off. I was listening to NPR this morning, and they were talking about, they are contesting the results. Donald Trump in Georgia, despite no evidence of voter fraud, after several recounts where the margin is 12,000 votes. Well, hold on a second. It was 15,000 before the recount. And that's just a recount of the machine, mind you.
Right.
I don't know how it's possible to find 5,500 votes. I don't know how that happens. So when NPR says, despite the recounts, why don't you give us a scorecard of what the votes were after the recounts? And you go, this is just recounting the ballot. This is just recounting the ballots in the machine. Maybe we need a hand recount, which brings me to something really important. And this is something that's been circulating online. And while I can't tell you exactly where I've procured some information, I do believe the source, 95%.
Okay.
This is confirmed, and there will be a sworn affidavit.
Confirmed.
Ooh. Hand recount in Georgia. This is important. So we're talking about the machines in Georgia. Machine, okay, total. Then recounted in the machine, okay, total. A hand recount found out of nowhere. When they did a recount of the votes, an increase of 37 votes for Donald Trump. This same hand recount found exactly a subtraction of 37 votes from Biden.
Interesting.
Machine, same results. This result. Hold on, let's hand recount. Oh, Biden gained 37. Trump gained 37. Did Biden lose any? 37? 37 bushes. How does that? This is something that's been circulating. I think we actually have Congressman Jody Hice confirmed it. And here is an email confirming the 37-vote switch. And I will tell you that I've spoken with a source that I can't disclose right now. Now, you know that's something important because I don't always list anonymous sources. No. I'm not like CNN. And you'll find this out soon enough in a court of law.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only that, this person was supposed to testify. The person's talking about the 37 votes, not your deep throat, right? Yeah, they pushed them down to the witness list. Like get down there at the bottom, and then we don't have enough time to get.
By the way, and you know why? Yeah. This witness has gone after Republicans hard. Yeah. Just to be clear, this witness who goes after both Republicans and Democrats, the Republicans were not happy with this witness, and they moved him down the list of 37 votes switched exactly. So right now we've seized the voting machines. We found a difference between Dominion and all other votes. We just saw the fraud that had taken place in Georgia with a massive voter dump. Where's the evidence? Take it to court. Well, if a judge doesn't look at this, what do you do? Listen, we're trying to take it to court. Look, we did a hand recount. 37. It's almost like it's an exact equation.
Right. And this is one of the things, too. You don't necessarily just rely on statistics to go to court, right? But you do rely on statistical anomalies to tell you where to dig and to do research. And that is absolutely a place where you go, well, hold on. You can't outperform only on this machine and only in these places.
And by the way, people watching right now, again, comment. Did you know about this, the 37-vote switch? Telling you 95% I can confirm this because there are a lot of rumors circulating that aren't necessarily accurate.
Right.
Yes. This is one that piqued my interest. I'm pretty sure it's accurate. Yeah. And if you apply that across the state, that's more than enough to flip the state. That's a 0.3% mark. It's more than enough.
Right.
And not even including the other stuff.
Yeah, it's like they're seeing this. It's like a paleontologist finding a bone and then going, hey, I think there might be a dinosaur here, and they go, dinosaur. There's just a bone. Right. There's no need to dig anymore.
No, that bone.
It's just a bone.
It's not even a bone, actually. There's no bone there. What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah. There's no evidence of dinosaurs.
Look, we guys just said bone 3 times, and Joe Lewis doesn't even care.
Nothing. Nothing
at
all.
Thing.
What is the word that would?
Oh, look, do you see that? He just twitched. Don't worry, he's not dead. He's thinking about killing a squirrel.
Is there a word that would make him go,
Happy dreams.
There really isn't.
No?
Let me see. Bring him up. Squirrel. Bone. Hold on, wait. Betty. No? Okay.
Man, he's out.
Out cold.
He is out. All right. That's
like
the last time I give my dog GHB. And this is also important when you say, look at all of these irregularities and we don't have how did all of this happen? How did these votes get lost? Yeah. It's important to remember, the reason we don't have a free and fair election, getting outside of the statistics, getting outside of the data that we have, getting outside of the video evidence, the macro here that really matters if we're talking about a free society, the constitutional republic, is that throughout all of this election, people, specifically of one side, have been intimidated, harassed, and berated, and we have hundreds of affidavits, again, under threat of perjury, showing this to be the case, not to mention anecdotal personal experience. This is where we are in this country.
I was unable to challenge a ballot due to the consistent intimidation, harassment, and verbal attacks throughout the day. This came from Democrat challengers, independents, a lawyer, team leaders, supervisors. I was threatened to be escorted out by a Democrat lawyer.
It was a hostile environment from the Democratic lawyer that told me I didn't know what I was talking about when I was challenging.
Writing down the SEO number, and then 2 Democrats stood, blocked my view. And a supervisor came over, grabbed my credential, and took photo and left. So that's how I was treated.
I personally, witnessed employees taking their pen and filling in the Democrat trade ticket when it's not. And we had an announcement that a new shipment of ballots were arriving, and these boxes of ballots were brought in by Mr. Baxter himself at 4:30 a.m. from the rear of the room. Mr. Baxter and his management team got back on the microphone and said, "This is what democracy is supposed to look like." Right in front of everyone, the whole room cheered.
I was assumed to be a Democrat.
This is that racist, self-loathing
I have seen some women who came to me and said, let's get these MFs out. And she was singing that song. And she was targeting white male Republicans, accusing them of something like your mask slipped, you were not 6 feet away, so you need to go out, and your phone was out. And they were really intimidating all these white people. And I put myself out there, tried to help them, saying, why are you getting them in trouble? And they said, why are you taking their side? Then I showed my GOP tag, and then she said to me that I am on the wrong side. And then when I asked one lady, where did you get trained? She said, trained for what? Because they didn't know what they were there for. Their only job, I could tell there, was to block the GOP people from challenging or intimidate them and get them out.
That's the lady who they tried to portray as racist because now she shouldn't have used the word chow. But
yeah, that was a mistake.
You know who's typically not offended? Asians, Senator Hirono notwithstanding.
Well, that very true.
But she said, this is her testimony, but they're just covering the fact that she said all Chinese people look alike. What she said was, listen, how can you understand? And people will say this is doing, I guess, Indian voice now, the equivalent to black face, black voice. I don't know.
I'm really offended, whatever happens.
Yeah, well, I think we can all agree that this is grossly offensive. It should never be broadcast. And somehow we do it and get away with it. But she said, how can you verify when you have people who don't show up with a signature? Many people think that all Indian people look alike. Yeah. And I understand, and I also find that all Chinese people look alike. In other words, she's saying that people who are not Indian aren't as familiar. And this is backed up by studies. It doesn't mean that you hate people. It means that if you are not as familiar with people, you are more likely to confuse them for a similar looking person. And she was saying, I also feel that way with Chinese people, which, listen, describe one of those people to a sketch artist, a police sketch artist, and they're going to be much more similar than your mom, your dad, or your brother.
You know who else thinks that a lot of Asian people look alike? Apple's face technology. Do you remember that story years ago that it would unlock on any Asian face?
We thought technology would bring us past hate.
No. Apparently, we're still there.
Yeah. So we can watch that I would say rewind, watch that montage again, and ask yourself if that's the kind of environment where everything's totally above line, like everything is totally fine. Right. Everybody's trying to be as honest, trying to make sure that the results are as clear and as easy as possible. So again, saying like this is what democracy looks like, pulling out a bunch of ballots. Let's get these MFers out. It's a horrendous environment.
Consistent.
Yeah, and every single Republican there, no matter what they look like, was treated like garbage.
And the one man threw a stack of ballots at the back of my head, and it hit me. He said, "Don't worry, I have plenty more where that came from."
Wow.
No return addresses. No, none.
Hostile.
And I
Stephen,
think,
you're not under oath right now, right?
Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify.
I think not. One of the most telling things, though, is how quickly the media was ready to carry the water. Right, the media immediately before any evidence had been presented, we just said, "Hey, there's some irregularities."
Oh wait, hold on a second.
That evidence doesn't matter.
Okay, hold on a second. I want it because we're going to go to this next. Sorry, about the COVID, California, Christmas. Let's see. Although, as much as I disagree with her, Poppy Harlow, hey, Poppy.
That's not Poppy.
That's not Poppy Harlow.
Oh really?
No,
well, all blondes look alike.
Against the virus, just 44 days from now. Let's get over to CNN's Jessica Dean. She's joining me now. She's got all of this.
It's a mirror image.
Just show me one person at CNN who's disgusted with a mayor threatening to arrest people for losing their house. If they don't, they don't share your values, America. Let's see.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
Oh, no, they just left the California story. You know why? Because it's not very good for them.
So she's reporting from Delaware because that's where Joe Biden was born?
Yeah.
Is that what's going on?
I thought it was Scranton.
Yeah.
No, I was born in Delaware, but I was raised in Amy's Diner of Scranton, in the local boxing club.
Down by the pool.
Really? Amy's Diner's not a thing. That's what you say. No, it's not a thing. Can you verify it? Kamala, it's time for me to develop that disease we've been talking about.
I broke my leg.
Step out of the way.
For crying out loud.
Oh my
I've never met anyone so full of shit in my life as Joe Biden. Like Donald Trump's a BSer.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like, unemployment is great, right? Unemployment is the best ever. People. The one thing I thought was really funny in his speech was the statistics, folks, that don't make sense. Where I had people come in from, we won the House, we gained seats in the House. That wasn't supposed to happen. Okay, we gained state legislatures. That wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And I had people come up to me. They said, "You're the one who led all this. And I thought I was going to lose, and I won, and you're so much more popular than me. People love you so much more than me. But you lost. How is that?" He said, "You're so much more beloved than me."
He said, "You'll find a bullet."
And I bet you there probably was a conversation where the guy said, "You know what? I thought that I might be on death's door with my campaign, and I thought for sure you might win and I might not, but I don't know how this happened." So you're saying that people think you're a pile of festering crap, and I am Zeus.
Nobody thought it was possible.
Nobody thought it was. But he actually said in the speech,
people said it couldn't happen.
That's BSer
I love it,
versus Joe Biden saying, "I met with the Pope on Thursday."
Right.
Like, no. The Pope didn't meet with you.
Yeah.
You were in your Barca lounger with the dog while he was breaking your ankle, apparently.
The Pope says you didn't, and he's infallible. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, only.
Let's not get into it.
No.
Nope, I didn't.
Comment.
Bring it up.
Comment.
Comment
Is the Pope
about that.
infallible? Only speaking when ex cathedra. A little bit of theological.
All right.
Let's go to California. The hypocrisy here with COVID, which is remarkable. I will tell you. Well, all right. First, let's go to this story, and then I will give. It started with this Garcetti.
Mayor?
Garcetti sounds like the guy in an old cop film who nobody likes. Like, I've got Garcetti on my ass.
Oh, yeah.
Find him.
He hasn't been in the field in years, but he has me doing paperwork. It's time to bring in the Cobra. Garcetti hates the Cobra. Garcetti hates everything good. So Garcetti issued a stay-at-home order in California. And I will say this. People will say this. I'm not an extremist at all. But the solution with Los Angeles is move. When they have a stay-at-home order, which means you can be arrested for leaving your house, including walking, bicycling. That's the order now.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not just outdoor dining. So we'll get to the outdoor dining and the hypocrisy there. But in the United States of America, where someone tells you because there's only a 0.03% survival rate if you're under the age of 60, that you have to stay home or face arrest, you move in California. But if that actually were to happen on a national level with Joe Biden, 1776 happened for far less than that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm telling if it gets and please, Joe Biden, I am urging the left, do not overreach on a national level because I understand federalism. People can move from the crap hole that is Los Angeles. I would recommend that they do so. And thank God that we have some sheriffs who said they refuse to enforce this order. Hey, listen, police officers, we backed you. You hold the line now for us. You arrest someone for leaving their house, you won't have our support.
Yeah.
I want to be clear about that. You are now the defenders of our freedoms. You're not just enforcing the law, you are enforcing the constitutional liberties of all Americans. If you have a governor, if you have a mayor who is saying, arrest that man because he left his house to go purchase baby formula, whatever the hell it is, you need to say no.
Right. Yeah.
Otherwise, we have a problem with you. If that happens on a national level, you will see, and I do not want it to come to this, you will see unrest like you have never seen in this country. And you know what? You've always got to give an injured tiger an out. Don't back him into a corner.
Yeah.
If you tell Americans that they have to stay home or face arrest, I don't know what other options they have at that point. Because right now they're going through the courts. You don't want them to. They're going through the courts of public opinion. You ban them from the courts of public opinion in big tech. You have video evidence of election fraud. You have affidavits. You have statistical evidence. You try and get before a judge. They just dismiss it. And then if you actually on a national level say we're going to lock you in your homes, well, the courts don't work. Well, the public opinion doesn't work. The town square is no longer available to them. What option do they have? Don't do it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's on the citizenry too right now that we have to kind of flick the jab just a little bit and say, okay, we have to go out and march now, right? Black Lives Matter did it and they said that was okay. We're going to go out and actually do it peacefully, unlike what they did. Let's everybody in these counties get together and say, hey, fine. Arrest all of us then, because we're going on a walk, right? We're going to go on a peaceful protest, which is our constitutional right to do.
You know who I wish
go for it.
would go on a walk? Garcetti on a long walk off a short pier.
Oh,
that's so mean.
Love it. Those piers are always so short.
Then he would get wet.
He didn't tell me there were rocks under the waves right off the shore. Whoa.
Is that a song?
Does anybody know this?
Name it.
No, nobody knows bad song
There's nothing else I can do because I'm doing it all for Lena.
Dunham?
No, on that same album, there's a song about phone sex, which I listened to as a kid, and I had no idea. And I went back and I was like, Mom, Dad, you let me listen to this? Billy Joel Glass Houses. All right.
Okay.
So Garcetti shut down small restaurants, to give you specifics, small restaurants, outdoor dining completely. But they gave an exemption to essential. By the way, essential workers in 2020 is for some reason films that no one can watch anyway. Here's a lady who fought back who was furious.
So this is my place, the Pineapple Hill Grill and Saloon. If you go to my page, you can see all the work I did for outdoor dining, for tables being 7 feet apart. And I come in today because I'm organizing a protest, and I came in to get stuff for that. And I walk into my parking lot, and obviously Mayor Garcetti has approved this. Has approved this being set up for a movie company.
Wow.
I'm losing everything. Everything I own is being taken away from me. And they set up a movie company right next to my outdoor patio, which is right over here.
Couple of things. First off, even with the mask, I can tell that you are quite the dish. So find solace in that.
Always look on the bright.
I'm just saying, lots of guys think you're fine. So that's a good thing, but
good.
losing your
That's
livelihood, more important. Because beauty is only skin deep. You're skin deep. So,
Oh, boy.
when people are talking about the sacrifices, like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson,
Right.
never touched steroids, by the way, once in college, and they terrified me. You
It's not an acid trip.
fucking liar. You are beyond a liar.
I had a weird steroid
No.
trip.
You're just larger, veinier, and leaner at 50 than you were at 35, and I can't even measure the growth of your forehead. But when these actors and Hollywood people go out and say, "Hey, we just listen. Let's all make a sacrifice." You first.
Yeah.
Okay? How about that? Especially right now, you should be out of work anyway because nobody's going to see the films. You've shut down the local. A lot of people don't understand this. They go to a local movie theater and they see it as a really big place. And they go, "This is grandiose. Look at all these seats. This must be owned by a billionaire." Just like if you go into a lot of these people, they own franchises. Okay, that is a small business. That's a mom and pop business. In a lot of these scenarios, that's one of the beauties of the United States: equities and the ability to own franchises. I know a guy who didn't finish college. You know how he became a millionaire? He opened up a handful of Jack in the Boxes.
Yeah.
Doesn't make a ton from each one, but when the chain was sort of just exploding, much like my ass after Jack in the Box.
Yeah, but he didn't work doubles.
He cleaned up. He didn't work doubles.
Yeah, and going back to your earlier point about the police, if you're in LAPD and you're afraid of losing your job, so if you say like, well, I have to enforce this crazy lockdown stuff because if I don't, I'll lose my job. Well, Mayor Garcetti wants you to lose your job anyway.
Right.
He wants to defund you.
He
unless
wants
you're
everyone
going and doing
to lose
his
their
bidding.
job.
Right.
He wants the restaurant lady to lose her
Absolutely.
job because you enforced it to keep your job, and then he takes away your job. And then you go, I thought you said you'd kill me last. I lied. That's what happens. That's how this ends. He doesn't want anyone to have a job. And that's why I still say we Yukon Cornelius, just axe pick California, push it off into the middle of the ocean. Silver, which is worth less than gold. Pick it, Yukon. Maybe he was understanding, maybe it was about investing in silver because more appreciation. I have no idea.
Maybe there's more silver than gold.
Pocket catheters! Reverse mortgages! He could have been watching a lot of cable. That's my point. So, Garcetti, we hear the term tone deaf thrown around, but Garcetti is beyond, not even close. He responded with this: "My heart goes out to Mrs. Marsden and the workers at the Pineapple Hill Saloon who have to comply with the state and the county, that's you, public health restrictions that close outdoor dining." Oh, okay, maybe he's going to. No one likes these restrictions.
Heart goes out.
But I do support them as our hospital ICU beds fill to capacity and Kate. Whoa, okay.
Wait a minute.
My heart goes out to you. Well, what are you going to do?
far.
Nothing. What about for pot shops? Well, listen, people got to get their weed.
Yeah.
We need them complacent and stupid. Now, I'm not saying.
I was just going to say that it was illegal to have a pot shop in California, 10 years ago, and now it's essential.
Now it's essential.
Great.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Take notes, you silly churches.
Pot services.
Wait a minute. Have we seen them ask for that the SS whatever cruise ship that came to New York? Have they asked for that? Have they asked for Samaritan's Purse to come and set up field hospitals and stuff like that to make sure that they can handle this? Or are they just virtue signaling?
They can't ask for Samaritan's Purse. Then they'd be importing Christians.
Oh, well, that's true. Well, is there like a satanic temple that can set up a hospital for them? Because they're known for that.
Hey, you know what? I got a better idea. Where are all the Muslim charities?
Yeah.
Where's the Muslim Samaritan's Purse going into 50% death rate Ebola? A little bit more than 0.3, I would say.
Right.
Tomato.
0.03.
49.7. So the point here is, this is one thing we never talk about. Where are the Islamic charities going in and helping people?
Yeah, and if things really...
where are they shutting down their mosques?
Yeah. They're not at all. And if things really are that bad, where you have to cut off people's livelihoods for a month in the busiest time of year for most of these people, then you need to be making plans to bring those people in. Show us the plans. Let us know that it really is this serious.
This year's been characterized by a lot of people who don't understand proportionality of danger, right? So it's the COVID, right? Which again, the 0.3% death rate,
worst disease ever.
Worst, of course. And then also the like hunting of unarmed black men by police officers, which again is very unlikely even for unarmed black men to experience. So these are people who don't understand what real danger is, but are afraid of tiny
scale
threats.
Of tripling unemployment rate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, real danger is closing down the economy.
How much is your life worth? That's not for you to say, because if I weren't a Christian, you would just see an exit wound in 2020 in the back of my chrome dome.
Yeah.
It is, but 0.3% versus tripling unemployment. How many more people starve? How many more people starve? How many more people kill themselves because of depression? How many more people go into substance abuse?
Yeah.
This is you need to weigh, and not to mention, let's erase all of it. You don't have the right.
Yeah.
No.
It doesn't matter if it's a church. I have the right to host a party, provided I'm not disturbing the peace.
And the people who are making these decisions are the people who are furthest removed from their consequences.
Right.
And we do have clips that show.
We do have clips.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is also Governor Newsom. His recent stay-at-home order said you couldn't celebrate Thanksgiving, but he exempted entertainment workers. And
was that the source?
Oh,
what was that?
That really hurt. Whatever.
What was that, Token Allen?
What? No. Nope.
Guys,
do we not have the source?
That's
whoa.
While you're supposed to be working?
Dude.
That's not the overlay.
I had like 3 overlays to it.
Oh,
I had
okay.
to stay focused.
Well, that wasn't amongst any of them. You could have 30 overlays. There's no reason for it.
One of the 3.
Are you at least you have ExpressVPN on that computer, though, right? So people can't track that horribly embarrassing search of yours? Okay.
I mean, other than just broadcasting it to everyone.
It still did go on air. But for people out there who aren't stupid enough to broadcast on air your fat pride erotica, not quite pornography.
Not quite.
He's not stupid.
Go to expressvpn.com/Crowder. You get 3 months free ExpressVPN. That's what we used when we did the algorithm searches with Tulsi Gabbard and some of our searches. Changed my mind. And
so it's
different IP addresses.
It's not just for Gibbons.
It's not just for Gibbons fat erotica.
Fetish.
We use it. We all use it here, ExpressVPN. And it's the only major VPN that you hear run as a sponsorship on some of these shows that didn't actually have a major data security breach, which one could almost argue defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
Of a VPN.
One could make that argument.
So stop handing your data over. Listen, to big tech companies. This is I don't need to read copy with any of my sponsors because I actually use it.
Yeah.
Okay, I use ExpressVPN. The only issue is one time it kicked me off on it didn't play well with Apple, and then they did an update.
Well, that's
and then it's good.
Well, that's the past.
But I just don't. Why would you willingly give your data to big tech? ExpressVPN.com/Crowder. You get 3 months free. They support the show, and it's a good VPN. Okay. Here's another one. Los Angeles County, the supervisor, Sheila Kuhl, is that how it's pronounced?
I don't know.
Sure.
Voted to, again, ban all outdoor dining, which she described as the most dangerous situation. That's what she described it, a most dangerous situation, because apparently she lives in Dickens era.
That sounds like a movie title.
Outdoor dining out on the Buffalo Wild Wings patio, I believe to be a most dangerous situation. Positively sticky.
I say.
Oh, woe is he who dines outdoors at Chick-fil-A. Soon you shall find yourself permanently resting in your pine overcoat. Don't represent us, you...
Don't say
that was close.
Don't.
Can't say it.
Said a bad word.
It's a pejorative.
It wasn't a compliment. You were just going to...
She described it as a most dangerous situation, and a few hours later, she did this.
Last Tuesday, just hours after Supervisor Kuhl called outdoor dining dangerous, then voted to ban it, she visited a local restaurant and dined outdoors.
It's totally hypocritical of her. It's basically one set of rules for them. And
listen to the guy with the hockey cut.
Sheila Kuhl had testified what a dangerous situation the outdoor dining is.
And beekeeper.
Then turns right around and dines. So, I mean, I don't think these people even really believe what they're saying.
That's the important point here. Listen, do you really believe, when you look at some of these hearings, even in Georgia, do you really believe that people are actually terrified of this? Now, do I believe that people out there live in greater fear than typically liberals have more mental health illness disorders? That's absolutely, and I say this as someone who struggled with mental health, and I'm a conservative. I'm an anomaly, okay? Can't put me in a box. I don't like labels. They have more mental health issues. They tend to be more motivated by fear. That is a fact, as opposed to, and if the things that they fear are insecurity versus a lack of freedom, a lack of liberty. So I do believe that they are more afraid of a virus because they don't know that it's a 99.999 whatever % survival rate. Yeah. But do you really believe that they are terrified when you see them go outside and they go and they dine at a restaurant when they don't think anyone's watching? When Nancy Pelosi, if Nancy Pelosi actually believes what she is telling you to believe, she would never, ever go to get a blowout, by the way, where it's a particle aerosol vortex, okay? These people would never go and eat outside at Chocolatable, whatever the hell it is. I'm not really up to speed on my franchises. I eat at home. This is one of those things. Do you really believe in your heart of hearts that they are afraid of it? Because I will tell you this. If Ebola was out there, like when Samaritan's Purse was one of 2 organizations that went with a 50% survival rate, I'd be Howard Hughes pissing in jars. I wouldn't go out.
No, not at all.
You wouldn't find me at Cowboy Chicken.
Well, I think with Miss Kuehl here, the danger really started at 5 p.m. the next day.
After she got her meal.
That was why she was like, "Oh, it's totally fine." And I mean, tomorrow hell comes, and we have to lock down.
She did eat outside, but she had a sad face the whole time.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah,
frowny face.
Yeah.
What was that? Show me again. Okay.
Hey, we've got a couple.
That was on camera. I can't tell if that's your sad face or your sex face.
No, jeez.
I'm not gonna make it.
By the way, hold on. I want to go again because I assume something is breaking. But if ever you really want to make your wife laugh, don't do a bit. Don't do a sex face bit. It ruins it for a while.
It does.
It was a long dry spell. She's like, "That's not funny. This is not the time." I was like, "Really?" Because I think. She's like, "Don't do your sex face." Like, no, it's not. Too close I said, wouldn't it be funny if this were my sex face? She was like, we're done.
Yeah, we're done.
But you put on the garter.
Yeah.
All right. What were we going to say there, Token Allen?
Didn't play well at the audience.
Yeah. So we just heard that the Sidney Powell hearing just adjourned, and we have a couple of updates.
We do have a couple of updates.
Some judge dismissals. Yeah. So this one is. There we go. Judge Timothy Batten has just rejected from the bench Sidney Powell's lawsuit seeking to block certification of Georgia election results.
Lovely.
He becomes latest in a string of GOP-appointed judges by George W. Bush to toss suit alleging election fraud. And then at the same time, pretty much we got Obama judge dismisses Sidney Powell request for a preliminary injunction in Michigan.
Wow.
Oh, well... You know, who cares if 37 votes were switched in videographic evidence? Now, to be clear, this isn't even a Trump suit. So when the media says Trump is Sidney Powell doesn't work for the Trump team, right? There are plenty of other people who filed suits, including independent people who Trump's lawyers work alongside. Now, that just shows you that no evidence is enough.
None whatsoever. What would you really have to have at this point, do you think, for anybody to take notice? And I mean, like we've said, the media, the judges, the people who are supposed to be the gatekeepers in the states, the governor, the secretary of state, all these people, what would you need to see?
There's no accountability for because if these judges get it wrong, there's no accountability there.
Yeah,
good example, isn't there a fine or something in California, not only being arrested, but potentially a fine for disobeying the stay-at-home orders? Has Newsom paid any of his fines?
Yeah.
What about Garcetti?
Yeah.
What about Kuehl? Have any of them had any repercussions at all?
No.
You do. They don't. Same thing with judges. You suffer the consequences. They don't.
Yeah.
Apparently, it also it wasn't just a matter of not enough evidence. It was that Judge Timothy Batten, he had said that the Dominion voting system had been around since before the election, and so we could have had it before.
Yeah. Well, they did. We could have had the Dominion voting before. We could have had the complaint before.
Yeah,
well, it was rejected in Texas. There were plenty of people who raised awareness, including Elizabeth Warren. Democrats did it. They didn't really care. Republicans do it. They don't really care. States reject it. Nah, who cares? No, there's a long track record of problems with Dominion from both the right and the left. Just like right now, there is a track record of corruption from judges both the right and the left. And I use the term right loosely, a GOP judge appointed by George W. Bush. Come on, the guy might endorse Biden.
Yeah, the judges did actually watch the Young Turk coverage of it. And,
yes, exactly.
Right. Well, no, if you think about it this way, if you're going to be excoriated in the media if you're going to be excoriated in the media, if this judge had said, yes, let's let this go to trial. Oh, I can't believe these radical right-wing judges. He does this, and it's, this judge is just wonderful. They don't judge it by the merits at all.
No.
They just judge it by whether they like it.
This is why I say Americans out there, you need to react. You need to peacefully assemble. You need to protest. You need to write your officials because this is probably going to be punted up to the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And they need to feel like they can stick their neck out for you. That's why you don't act like a defeatist little weasel now. Yeah. It's not the time to. This isn't over. This is far from over. This is what people think. You can always see this happen. The closer you get to potentially losing, more people drop out because they ultimately want to be on the winning side to be able to say, I told you so. Look, I'm not looking for an I told you so. I will continue fighting until and if there is a loss because it matters to fight. Sometimes you fight for the sake of fucking fighting. It's not because you have to win.
Right.
You can win, but you don't know that you will. Right. And the Supreme Court needs to see that from you. Right. You got conservatives who just sort of, I guess, slink out at this point. Listen, you are making the loss more likely, not less likely. You will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. This is upsetting, but it's not unexpected.
Right. No, we definitely expect it. And the time to get angry and to do something about it is not January 20th. It's too late then. Right? You have to stand up and say, hey, this is what we feel right now. You have to go and look into this. Otherwise, we don't have free, fair elections.
And so many of these judges have heard the media narrative, but they may have never heard the opposite narrative. They may have actually never heard anything be contradicted. Like, well, here are the facts on this and here. And because again, you can present a handful of facts, but if you don't have a contradictory or a narrative that contradicts the media's narrative, then you don't have anything. You can't actually put the facts all together.
If you were to sit down this
story.
judge, if you were to sit down this judge right now, or many of these judges in Georgia, and say, hey, by the way, this is their excuse right now, but what about the fact that the night of they said a pipe burst and they said that they had sent people home and counting stopped? Are you aware of that? Say, well, there might have been one miscommunication. Then show them our montage. Here's CNN, ABC, CBS, Fox News, and CNN and PBS again, BBC. Maybe the judge might go, oh, that's relevant because the video matches what they initially told us. At the very least, we know at some point along the trail there's a severe miscommunication, which is a problem, or someone is lying, more likely, which is a problem. I don't know that the judges know this, and this has happened before. You can see these in very well-publicized cases. This idea, we somehow think that people from the bench are beyond error. They're not. Do you think that these, all of a sudden, because they put a judge's robe on, that they understand algorithmic data? They don't. That's why there's such thing as an expert witness. And at this point, they're not allowing the expert witness to come forward and explain it.
Right. And just to highlight your point, when John Roberts basically rewrote law, which was not the purview of the Supreme Court with Obamacare, that's a great example of a justice doing something that a justice should never do, right? It happens. And if it can happen in the Supreme Court, it can certainly happen in other courts throughout the country.
Of course. All right, listen, we do have to get going pretty soon, but we have a few more examples of the COVID stuff, city lockdown, blah, 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 blah. You know what, let's go to California Mayor Rex Parris. Let's go to that one. This one is pretty fun. He declared that not wearing a mask in public was, quote, an act of domestic terrorism.
Wow. Oh, wow.
This one's from Daily News.
I think it's body odor.
If it were up to me, anybody not wearing a mask when they are out in public would be arrested and boiled with his Thanksgiving. With a steak of Holly Cruz hot.
I think you added the last part.
Would be arrested. That's an act of domestic terrorism and should be treated like one. Wow. Keep in mind, this is a state that has been knowingly exposing people to AIDS.
Yeah.
Right? They removed the consent law.
Right.
Where it's like, wait, hold on a second. Before you pound me in the rear, I would like to know, do you have a disease that could lead to my loss of life and or severe decline of quality of life? Again, before you pound my rear, could you? I am not legally required to disclose that. Well, good enough for me. This is the removed consent laws.
I don't like that sound effect.
This matters. In California, removed consent laws for AIDS. Used to be, if you have AIDS, disclosure laws. You have to say, hey, by the way, before I absolutely plow you, I've got AIDS. What was that? Too late. It's just like this is, and they're saying an act of domestic. Well, listen, let me ask you this. Is it an act of domestic terrorism for someone at the Folsom Street Fair to knowingly infect someone else with AIDS and not wear a rubber? You've ruled no. But not wearing a mask, which, by the way, anyone out there, I want you guys to comment. Show me the data that shows the masks that people are using, the reusable home cotton cloth polyester masks when they are not washed in a commercial hospital system washing machine, that it actually works. I'm not talking about N95 masks. I'm talking about you and your glorified pashmina. Okay? I want to know what data exists to show that verifiably works, because I have not seen it, and I of course accept that surgical masks work in their appropriate clinical settings, provided they are disposed of properly.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so all of a sudden they're comfortable throwing the word terrorism around.
Right.
The left loves using the word terrorism just to describe people going to the store without cloth on their face.
Did you almost cuss?
No, I think I was just stumbling over my words.
Okay. I heard an F and I was like, oh,
yeah.
Wade?
Yeah, no, what about the guy who went down to the Piggly Wiggly to pick up some diapers and didn't wear a mask? Terrorist. What about the guy who yelled out Allahu Akbar and ran over people with a postal truck?
You mean God
We're
is
not
greater?
sure. Let's not jump to conclusions. The fact that you represent anybody means the founding fathers missed some fine print.
That other person is an austere religious scholar, I think is how it was phrased.
That's right. Yeah, no, that's exactly correct. We have to be careful. Hey, well, hold on a second. Well, I don't know. Listen, that man didn't wear a mask. That's terrorism. Keep in mind, terrorism, and we're going to go after this. By the way, comment. Everybody watching now, if you are watching the archive because you can't comment while it's streaming live, just leave a comment. Your thoughts will do an Ask Me Anything down the line. Ask any questions you want. List your favorite color. How are you going to fight back? Just comment. Whatever. It takes you 5 seconds. Well, terrorism, people need to understand, terrorism isn't just violence. Terrorism is violence committed with the ultimate ends, right? The goal is a political or ideological motivation. Yeah. So when you say someone not wearing a mask is domestic terrorism, well, what is the ultimate, this is a means to an ultimate ideological end, which is what? In this case, I guess someone wanting the freedom to not be arrested. Okay. But then when we're talking about Islam, right? They go, well, the motivations, we don't know if it's terrorism. Again, we have to understand that terrorism is a means to an ideological, religious, theological, philosophical end. We don't know the motivation. He was yelling Allahu Akbar. Jury's still out.
Yeah, we're not sure.
And it's like, that's the only kind of terrorism I've ever heard of you can do accidentally.
Right.
Like, oops, I was committing terrorism because I forgot my mask in my car. Oh, so sorry about that.
Yeah, you're like, hold on, I gotta go into Kroger. I have a mask in the glove box. Son of a bitch, I have to commit some terrorism.
But it's like not wearing a mask. Not wearing a mask is terrorism, but running down, smashing the Piggly Wiggly sign, stealing all the Piggly Wiggly stuff.
If I have to commit terrorism, totally might as well make it count. Allahu Akbar! And you just drive right into the Tom Thumb so they will remember my name. All right, we have about 40 minutes more show. We are going to be playing Try to Laugh, a challenge over there on SNL for people who aren't subscribed to Mug Club, louderwithcrowder.com/Mug Club. Again, you comment, that helps us. 45 minutes more of show, taking your chat. YouTube, we've had enough of you. Piss off.